In 1847, inside Vienna General Hospital, there were two doors a pregnant woman could walk through. One ward was run by doctors. The other, right next door, was run by midwives. Walk through the doctor's door and your chance of dying within days was as high as 1 in 10. Some months, worse. Walk through the midwife's door instead, and that risk dropped by more than half. Women figured this out fast. Some begged to give birth in the street rather than get assigned to the better ward. Curiosity, no filler. I'm Mr. Lore. Today, we open the file on Ignaz Semmelweis, the doctor who saved humanity, was branded a liar for it, and died broken, locked away in a madhouse. In July 1846, this young Hungarian doctor took a job inside that first ward. His boss? Professor Johann Klein. His job was simple on paper. Deliver babies, teach students, keep records. His records are what started this whole mystery. Every month, Semmelweis wrote down the same disturbing pattern. Women in the doctor's ward kept dying of something called childbed fever. Women in the midwife's ward mostly didn't. Same hospital, same city, same disease. Wildly different odds of survival, depending only on which door you walk through. Semmelweis tried everything to explain it. Overcrowding? No. The midwife's ward was actually more crowded. Diet, ventilation, even the position women gave birth in. Every theory failed. The only real difference between the two wards was who was doing the delivering. And that idea, that the doctors themselves might be the danger, was not something anyone in 1846 wanted to hear. Real quick, before we find out what he did about it, if these are the kind of mysteries you like, this channel opens one every week. Hit subscribe so you don't lose the file. The answer arrived in 1847, and it arrived through tragedy. Semmelweis's close friend and colleague, Jakob Kolechka, was accidentally cut by a student's scalpel while performing an autopsy. Kolechka fell ill within days and died. When Semmelweis read the autopsy report on his own friend, he froze. The disease pattern inside Kolechka's body looked identical to the women dying of childbed fever. But Kolechka never gave birth. He'd been cut by a blade that had just come from a corpse. Semmelweis put it together. Doctors and students spent their mornings performing autopsies, then walked straight to the maternity ward without washing. He believed they were carrying invisible cadaverous particles on their hands, straight from the dead into the delivery room. In May 1847, Semmelweis ordered every doctor and student in his ward to wash their hands in a chlorinated lime solution before touching a patient. Not soap, not water alone. A harsh chemical wash, strong enough to strip the smell of death off human skin. The results were almost immediate. The month before the rule, his ward's death rate was over 18%. 2 months after, it was near 2. He had just saved, conservatively, hundreds of lives with a single rule. A rule that cost nothing. And almost nobody wanted to adopt it. Here's the problem. In 1847, nobody knew germs existed. Semmelweis had the result, but not the science to explain why it worked. To doctors of the time, that was suspicious, not convincing. And the accusation underneath it stung. Wash your hands quietly meant you have been killing your patients. A more patient man might have played politics, published carefully, waited for allies. Semmelweis did the opposite. He refused to publish his full findings for over a decade, while the deaths he could have prevented kept happening elsewhere. When his book finally appeared in 1861, it wasn't a calm scientific paper. It was closer to an accusation. He began writing open letters to Europe's most respected obstetricians, calling the ones who ignored him irresponsible murderers. He wasn't wrong about the deaths, but the tone cost him nearly every ally he had left. Imagine trying to convince your entire industry it's been killing people by accident, using facts alone, with no one believing the mechanism. It didn't go well. By the mid-1860s, colleagues described him as erratic exhausted, and increasingly isolated. Some of it, to be fair to history, may have already been illness. On July 30th, 1865, a colleague named Ferdinand Ritter von Hebra invited Semmelweis to visit what he called a new institute. It was a Viennese insane asylum. Semmelweis realized what was happening and tried to leave. Guards seized him, beat him, and forced him into a straitjacket. He was locked in a darkened cell. 14 days later, on August 13, 1865, Ignaz Semmelweis died, age 47. The official cause? A gangrenous wound, an infection in his hand, quite possibly from the struggle. The very category of death he had spent his whole career trying to prevent. Semmelweis never lived to see himself proven right. About 20 years later, Louis Pasteur confirmed that germs, invisible, real, everywhere, cause disease. Acting on Pasteur's research, a surgeon named Joseph Lister introduced antiseptic technique in 1867. His patient's death rate fell from around 46% to 15%. Suddenly, the man everyone had dismissed had been correct the entire time. Doctors today even have a name for what happened to him: the Semmelweis reflex, rejecting new evidence simply because it contradicts what you already believe. So the next time a surgeon washes their hands before touching you, that's not routine. That's a habit written in the file of a man nobody believed, until it was too late for him. If this is the kind of file you want opened every week, subscribe before you go. It genuinely helps this keep going. Curiosity. No filler. I'll see you in the next file.